and I could not see. In fact, that was the day I had an idea of what it means for someone to turn blind on it. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, my name is Tessie and I film about my lifestyle, my journey in the United States of America. I share my experiences and I also give tips about graduate school application. So today I'm going to be talking about my first experience as a TA, that's teaching assistant. So like I've said in some of my previous video, you can get funding in form of graduate teaching assistantship, graduate research assistantship, and all of that. So mine was in the form of graduate teaching assistantship, which means that I have to teach, or I had to teach when I was going to come to the US. Of course, after I got my admission and all of that, people like I had colleagues, senior colleagues that were already in the US studying, they all told us about being a TA, that basically what I required to do is to assist a lecturer, like basically assisting a lecturer. So like there's a lecturer in charge of the class, yours is to assist him in terms of grading, and that's all you do as a TA. Like you don't teach, you don't get to teach, you only get to assist in terms of grading, and that's what like everyone says. And I think that's actually the way it's supposed to be normally. So I was like, okay, I'm used to grade, that's fine. So when I got here, I later realized that for my school and for my department, it's not like that. You are actually going to be the one in charge of the class. And it's funny because when I told my my other like people that I knew that are in other schools, they were all like, no, that's not the way it's supposed to be. Like in other schools, in most schools, the way it's supposed to be is that you're supposed to help a lecturer in grading, like you're an assistant. But for my school, it's the other way around. Like I'm actually the one in charge of the class. Then they gave me an assistant, which is an undergrad. So the undergrad is like the one assisting me, meaning that it is my class. I get to do the lecture, I get to do the teaching, I get to grade their reports, all of that. And of course, I'm a science student, so for my own teaching assignment is basically lab. So I'm like, I give instructions about what to do in the lab. I know the way lab is, like something can go wrong, there can be explosion, somebody can spill chemical on the hand. You have to know what to do. If somebody spilled a particular chemical on the floor, you have to know exactly the chemical to put to neutralize it. You have to know exactly what to do. If they run out of reagents, you have to know how to prepare every reagent. You have to know how to use every equipment, because there's no senior teacher in the class or senior like senior lecturer or something that I can go and report it so that you're in the lab with. So the undergrad TA looks up to you as per you're the graduate student. So if anything happens, or if they ask the undergrad anything, doesn't he or she just going to direct the students to me as per I'm the graduate student, I'm the TA of the class. He or she is only assisting me, so you're expected to know everything basically. So when I realized that, I became scared, because the funny thing is that most of the equipment, most of the machines, most of the things they use here in their lab are things that I had never seen before, talk less of use them. Like I only learned the theoretical aspects in school, they taught us in class, but I never get to use them. Like some of them, we don't even have them in our department. And then some of those practicals also are things that I had never done before. And here was I was expected to know what to do at each time. I was expected to know how to teach these people. If their reagents runs out, I should know how to prepare it at what ratio. You don't just prepare reagents, you have to know the exact calculation to do, what chemical to mix and all of that. Like it was just a lot, and I was just like, how am I going to do this? So what I did, and I'm saying this out there in case you later find yourself in my shoe, the shoe I was, what I did was I had these classmates who had undergrad in my school. Lastly, she had done all of those labs as an undergrad. Secondly, that was not her first time being a TA. Like she used to be, when she was in undergrad, she used to be an assistant TA, because assistant TAs are always undergrad and the graduate TAs are always from graduate students in chemistry department. Or the assistant TA can be in another department, because their only work is to grade. You're the one doing the teaching, you're the one doing the instructions, you're the one doing everything. That's just to grade, but I still grade the report. But every other assignment, that's is to grade it. So she had been a TA like so many times, maybe like 3 times, and she was already used to each of those labs. So what I did was, my own TA session then were on Fridays. I used to have, like, I teach 2 classes, so it's like the whole of my Friday. I teach one from 8 to 12 and another one from 12:30 to like 4 p.m. as we're on Tuesday, like Tuesday and Thursday or something like that. So I used to attend that Tuesday class to see, to watch, to learn, to know what could go wrong in the lab. If your reagent runs out, how I should prepare it, to know how to use those machine, like if I need to use a particular machine or instrument, because those students, they've not done those lab before, so you're supposed to teach them, to guide them. And imagine if you don't know how to do it yourself also, and they look at you as, oh, you're a PhD student, you should know it and all of that. But they don't understand that where you are coming from. Those things, we didn't have them. We still don't have them anyways. So I had to attend our lab sessions, so I literally learned from her. So I don't stay to the end of our lab session, I just stay for like an hour, because they have to give a lecture before the lab. So I used to stay for a lecture to listen to how she lectures them, how she explains the experiment, because the experiments were things that I didn't understand. Like most of the time I don't understand, like on my own. So you have to listen to the way she explains the experiment. That way you're going to have an idea of what the experiment is all about and all of that. And then I just stay a bit to watch how they do it and everything. So that was what I did then all through the semester. Actually, that was what I did, because each lab like is different, like they're all different things. What they do this week is different from what they are going to do next week, so you can't say because you've attended once and that's it. So I tried to attend like all through the semester, and then the next semester, since I had lectured that course before, it now became easy for me, like I already know it and all of that. Backward to my first experience, of course I gave the lecture, I told them to start. Okay, so when I started, I told them that it's my first class, it was my first class with them. So I just said, oh, my name is this is that, I'm from Nigeria, I'm a new student here, this is my first time of being a TA, blah 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 and all of that. And for some reasons they just really loved me. Like I think because of the fact that I mentioned the fact that I'm from Nigeria, they kind of pitied me basically, like who my, like after the lecture and everything, after the lab, so they're coming to meet me, they're like, oh my gosh, how have you coping? So you mean you have, your parents are not here, your siblings are not here, so how are you coping, this, that and all of that? And they were like, oh, so how do you go to the grocery store, because we know you don't have a car yet, if you need to go get grocery, just let me know, I'm more than willing to help. Like they were extremely nice to me, so I really had a good relationship with them like all through the semester. So for my first lab, one of my students, because you have to have your googles, your safety googles in the lab, so one of my students was like, oh, he forgot his googles at home and all of that, and then he said he wanted to run back home to go get it. And we started the lab. I'm like, run back home. I just gave him my own because I had mine, so I was like, okay, he can use mine. And then he used it, and then he returned it at the end. So when I got home that day, of course I had a very long day, because like I said, for that semester, that was last year, it was like back to back, like 8 to 12, 12 to 4. So it was like I had it, and it was my first time as a teen. You have to always walk around, be sure that they're doing the right thing and all of that. You have to keep checking on them, like, oh, do you have any problem, do you have any question, how is it going, blah 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 blah, and all of those things. So I had a very long day. So when I got back, I was just so tired. I think I slept like maybe 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. Like I slept pretty early, like maybe 6 p.m. that night or that evening. And then I woke up, was it 1 a.m.? As I woke up, I just woke up to darkness, like I could not see anything. Like I could not see anything. And then opening my eyes was a struggle for me. I was in pain, like it was so much pain for me to open my eyes. My eyes were red and I could not see. In fact, that was the day I had an idea of what it means for someone to turn blind, honestly. Like at first I was like, what's going on? Like the light rays were really biting, like they were really like biting my eyes and all of that. So I stood up and I could not see anything. Like I was in total darkness, and I needed to read because I was preparing for an exam. So of course I slept early. I slept like 6 p.m. I woke up like 1 a.m. or 12 a.m. That's already 6 hours sleep. So I couldn't go back to sleep because I've slept enough. I have to read, but at the same time I couldn't even see. I just forced myself. I carried myself from my bed. I went to sit down on my reading chair. I carried my book, and then I couldn't see what I was reading. Like water was now coming out from my eyes. I couldn't read anything. I was just there with the note. I was so scared. Oh my gosh, my village people, I'm now blind. My village people have followed me to the US. Like I was, this thing I'm saying that is funny. Because I've never experienced that kind of thing before. Like I was blind basically. Like I couldn't see anything. I was struggling to read. I was going to call my parent at home that I push me pray for me. It's like they've sent evil arrows to my eyes. So because that was what I was thinking, that evil arrow, something like that. I was just really scared. I couldn't see anything, and I struggled for like an hour with my book, hoping that my vision was going to get better, but it didn't get better. So I just said, okay, let me just go and sleep. I woke up the next morning. I was even scared to open my eyes. As I opened my eyes, then it became better. Like not perfectly better, but my eyes were still red. Water was still coming out, but I could see. I mean, not enough to read, but then I could see around. I could know I'm good, like I could see. And then over time for the day, like it got better. I was really scared, honestly. I thought that because I was like, maybe it's an evil arrow or something. You know the way, because we in Africa are very, very superstitious. So I was like, maybe it's evil arrow or something. Because then I just got to the US, and then that kind of thing was happening to me. So I was really scared. And okay, now the thing was that there was just one thing that was unusual that I did, because I was trying to, okay, what else could be the cause? So the only thing that I felt could be the cause was that there was this stuff that you can use to cover your eyes for people who don't like to sleep with lights. You can use it to cover your eyes whenever you want to sleep. So I got, when I was traveling from Nigeria to the US, they gave us that stuff in the plane. It was part of the thing they gave us in the plane. For people who wanted to sleep in the plane and then maybe don't like to sleep with lights. So it was part of the package they gave us. So you just wear it on your eyes, like it's a cloth basically, just cover it. Like it's like nose mask, but this one is for the eyes. So I got it when I was traveling, but I never used it because whenever I wanted to sleep in the plane, I slept normally. I didn't use it to go. So I'd never used that thing before. So that particular evening I go back from the TA duty, whatever, I needed to sleep, but the sleep was not coming on time, but I was too tired to do anything. So I just went to pick that thing and I used it to cover my eyes so that I could sleep, you know, faster. So I slept faster, of course. So I was like, okay, maybe that is the thing, because that was the only unusual thing that I did that I don't do normally. So I was like, is that the thing? So I now asked my housemate, because she also used the airline I use and they gave her also. So I asked her that has she ever used it before. She said yes, that she has used it before and then nothing ever happened to her. Like nothing ever happened to her. I asked my other colleagues or people that also came to the US, I asked them also that have they ever used their Qatar, the name of the airline is Qatar, have they ever used their Qatar AMI whatever, and just said yes, that in fact some were like they use it regularly, that's nothing has ever happened to them. So I was able to rule that out, that okay, that can be the reason. I was just like, wait, that another thing that happened was, okay, I was in the lab like all through yesterday, and could it be one of the chemicals I worked with? Then, and I remember that I didn't use my Googles when I was in lab. Like I lent it to a student who forgot his Googles, and I remember that I had to prepare a particular reagent, like the reagent finished, so I had to prepare it. And of course I didn't have my Googles. To me it was not a big deal to do that without my Googles. So I went to browse for that particular chemical I used, about the side effect or something, and then I read it that they said it can cause permanent blindness. They stated different things that the chemical can cause, and I was like, oh my god, this is definitely the cause. I was like, oh, what a good way to start my first year experience, because it was crazy. But I learned from there. It was a very, very horrible and terrible experience. But anyways, that's basically all about my first year experience and how I was able to blend into the system. Like I said, I used to attend a friend session, all of that. So that's basically all about it. So this video might be useful for some of you that might be coming as a TA. Your experience might not be like mine. You might have to assist a lecturer, but in case yours turns out to be like mine, these things that later did, these tips should be able to help you. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you find it helpful, if you find it useful, please take out the time to like it and It's not hard to like. Just spam you don't like, just spam. I think people don't understand that when you like someone's video, when you comment on it, it helps the algorithm. Like it helps YouTube to suggest your video to people out there the more, like, because YouTube is going to feel like, oh, they're enjoying this person's video, they're engaging in the name. YouTube is going to put it out there the more. So people don't understand that it helps the algorithm. It does not take anything to just like, to just drop a comment. Oh, I mean, just drop the comment. It's not, it's not hard. It's not hard. It's not a hard thing. Anyways, thank you so much. I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye.